Welcome back, shooters. I have Barbara Crown right there, live from Miami. She's got that sweater on again. It must be a little chilly in Miami, would be my guess. What do you think?
Yes, it is. It is chilly for us. It's down in the low 60s.
the low 60s. Okay, well, that's kind of like California weather. They all bundle up over here when it hits 60. I should have said something. I bet Rachel would have told us it's probably in the 40s over there. That's a little cooler. Now, listen, I understand that, and Marco Polo has been one of those particular animals that I've never had the opportunity of hunting. Mainly because I've never been really sure where to do it. Now, I understand you have some really good information, and if I have a desire to go, where would I go?
Well, the place to hunt Marco Polo is going to be in Central Asia. There are two countries that you can hunt Marco Polo, and that is in Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. Tajikistan is the place known for those 55-inch to 60-inch sheep, and we're talking about the sheep with those horns that curlicue off to the side of their heads. They are the holy grail of international big game hunting. Tajikistan is probably the most popular destination for these. Viewers who have been following my reports over the last year know that there have been some problems in Tajikistan. Last year, in January, the president of Tajikistan made a verbal announcement that the hunting season was going to be closed, but he never issued a presidential decree in writing, which really left people very confused. It left things up in the air. People didn't know exactly what was going on. There's been a lot of confusion in Tajikistan over the past year, and some of that confusion led to those detainments of Marco Polo trophies that were imported from the previous season. You remember me telling you that there was over a dozen of those trophies that were seized by U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and they were investigating the hunters because they thought that there was some monkey business going on with those imports. That was cleared up. Those trophies were finally released when Tajikistan issued some clarifications that made it clear to U.S. Fish and Wildlife that the trophies were legally taken and were being legally imported. Now, the latest development is the president of Tajikistan has finally come out and announced that hunting will be open for 2010. And the reason behind that is the Tajikistanis, working with a group of European biologists, conducted a survey this past winter of the sheep. And lo and behold, they found that they have more sheep than anyone ever imagined they had. So the question about whether there are suffering sheep populations in Tajikistan has been settled. The answer is no. They have plenty of sheep. Also, Tajikistan in the past has used the CITES authority in Moscow to process all of its CITES export paperwork. And that also contributed to some problems with those trophies that were detained, and that has to do with the re-export documents that U.S. Fish and Wildlife wants when a trophy goes from one country to another and doesn't immediately leave that third country. So that will not be a problem anymore either, because Tajikistan will be establishing its own CITES authority in its capital, Dushanbe. Also, great news, because of the new survey and another survey that they're doing this spring during the lambing season, they're putting together a completely new comprehensive management sheep program for Tajikistan, and they have promised that U.S. Fish and Wildlife will have it before the May 31st deadline. So all of that means if you've been holding on to a booking to Tajikistan for Marco Polo sheep and you weren't able to go last year or the year before, this is the year. And because no hunting took place last year, that's really good for sheep numbers and for really good sized trophies this year. So this is the year to get in on one of those Tajikistani Marco Polo hunts.
Okay, I didn't have time to go through the hunt report. I apologize. But tell me about the Any problem with importing guns? I mean, I didn't have time to read it. Is there anything I should know if I'm going to plan a trip over there that I should be aware of?
Problems with firearms to Tajikistan? No, I haven't had any reports about problems with firearms. Haven't had any reports about problems within the country or with export documentation or any of that. The Tajikistanis are pretty organized when it comes to that. Okay. And the companies that are working with them have really worked a lot of the bugs and the kinks out of that kind of thing. So Tajikistan really is a good place to go. It's Central Asia, so remember you're not in the States or in Canada or in Europe. You have to be a little flexible. Things can be delayed in Central Asia, but for the most part, Tajikistan's pretty much got its act together when it comes to that kind of thing.